Tonight, MtGox may not dissolve quietly. Google Now launcher launches, and Google Glass-type smart glasses for the military. Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 32 for Wednesday, February 26, 2014. This episode of Tech News Tonight is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster, easier, and cheaper. Post your job to 50-plus job boards with just one click. Try ZipRecruiter for a free 4-day trial at ZipRecruiter.com/TN2. That's ZipRecruiter.com/TN2. I'm Sarah Lane, and let's get right to the tech feed. Well, Bitcoin exchange MtGox might be donezo, but the question still remains, where did all of those Bitcoins, about 744,408 of them, roughly 6% of all the Bitcoins in the world, go? If MtGox or its employees sent emails or financial transfers through Manhattan, federal prosecutors could claim jurisdiction. And a source tells Reuters that Manhattan attorney Preet Bharara has sent subpoenas to MtGox, other Bitcoin exchanges, and businesses that deal in Bitcoin to seek information on how they handled recent cyber attacks. Meanwhile, Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, has called for a ban on Bitcoin. In a letter to the Treasury, Federal Reserve, and other financial regulatory agencies, Manchin called Bitcoin disruptive to our economy. With the Android KitKat launch, you might remember Google added a new launcher exclusively for the Nexus 5, which was a merging of the standard home screen and the Google Search app. And it wasn't long before Android users installed the launcher on non-Nexus devices, because they're a crafty little bunch. Today, Google has released an updated launcher into the Play Store for those other devices. The launcher has now been renamed to Google Now Launcher and takes advantage of new Android 4.4 features like transparent status and system bars. Saying "OK Google" while on the home screen will trigger the voice recognition to start listening for commands. It's limited to stock Android devices, but Google could decide to package its home screen into the licensing requirements for the Play Store. They haven't yet, but they could eventually. In other Google news, rumors that the company bid and lost to Facebook for messaging service WhatsApp are, quote, simply untrue. That's according to the company's senior vice president, Sundar Pichai, at Mobile World Congress. Pichai said, quote, WhatsApp was definitely an exciting product, but that we never made an offer to acquire them. Press reports to the contrary are simply untrue. Well, Sony has been on a reorganizing tear with a sale of its Vio PC division to Japan Industrial Partners and a spinoff of its television business into separate entities, which combined calls for about 5,000 layoffs worldwide by the end of Sony's 2014 fiscal year. And now the company has announced it's closing 20 of its 31 Sony store locations across the U.S., also by the end of the year. The 11 remaining Sony stores will be scattered across locations in California, Florida, New York, and at the Houston Galleria in Houston, Texas. Congratulations to you, Houston. Later in the show, a self-destructing smartphone from Boeing. Yes, Boeing. And next, Dean Takahashi will tell us about Google Glass military style. But first, are you hiring? And if so, where do you post your job to find the best candidates? How do you wade through all the job boards to find the best talent? If you want to fill that position fast with the right candidate, the perfect candidate, you need to post your job on all of the top job sites. You know how you do that? With ZipRecruiter. You post to 50-plus job sites all at once with a single click. ZipRecruiter also posts your job on social networks like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. They'll add your logo and your colors to give your job pages your company branding, and you can add unlimited users to your account. You can create an instant job page on your website. You can include company careers page to use as a careers links. Post once, and qualified candidates will start rolling into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. Plus, the company will automatically highlight the best candidates. Then you screen them, you rate them, and you hire the right person fast. Try ZipRecruiter and find out why they've been used by over 100,000 businesses. Right now, our listeners and viewers can try ZipRecruiter for a free 4-day trial by going to ZipRecruiter.com/TN2. That's ZipRecruiter.com/TN and the number 2. And we thank ZipRecruiter for their support of Tech News Tonight. Joining us now is Dean Takahashi, who covers video games, security, chips, and more at VentureBeat. Hello, Dean.
Hello, Sarah.
How are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. A little wet.
It is a little wet in the Bay Area. That's where Dean and I both are. All right, so you reported today that the U.S. Navy has awarded grants to a company called Vuzix. Am I saying that correctly?
Vuzix.
Vuzix to build Google Glass type optics into goggles. So what's the Navy planning here?
Well, they want to sort of take advantage of all the real-time information that Google Glass smart glasses can deliver, and you can sort of imagine that these would be really good for training or for simulation. Anytime somebody's doing something really complicated on a ship, and they need a reminder of what they're supposed to be doing. And if you saw Captain Phillips too, it's big giant ships, and you really want to know sometimes exactly what your crew member is seeing, and so transferring video back to, say, the captain is a really important thing sometimes.
So what else does Vuzix make? Why is the Navy interested in this company in particular?
Well, like Google Glass covers one of your eyes, but these guys want to make something like, just regular sunglasses. And those sunglasses can be really thin, and you can see the images in front of your face, basically. At the same time, you're seeing everything else in front of you. And they just overlay computer images on top of it. So they make these in either monocles, or they make them in 720p high definition, or even 1080p high definition sunglasses, and those are coming out sometime soon. So these are pretty cool consumer devices as well.
So if Google Glass is really aimed at the consumer market, and Vuzix is working on all types of wearables, but can definitely go into a vertical like defense, obviously talking about the U.S. military, what other non-consumer uses might we see for a Google Glass type product going forward?
Well, I guess they're going to have to modify it some, like, say the Navy's going to want to waterproof it for sure, right? And then you have the New York City Police Department is actually testing Google Glass itself to see if they can use it to do things like look up criminal records, while they're out walking the beat, or, just, recognize a face possibly. There's definitely a lot of non-consumer governmental uses that are going to be very. It's sort of like just an augmentation to your memory. It'll flash something in front of you saying, this is what you're looking at, and lots of different kinds of people and jobs could use those.
Is there anything that Google Glass does not do yet that you're really hoping for in the next iteration?
Well, it plays pretty primitive games now, like spelling games. You can use eye tracking, and it'll follow your eyes, and you can spell out a word or something like that. But getting to more complicated games would be really fun.
Well, Dean, thank you so much for joining us on Tech News Tonight. Hope you stay dry out there down in the South Bay, where I know you are. Tell people where they can find your work online.
VentureBeat, VentureBeat.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right, finally, word that aerospace giant Boeing planned to build a secure Android phone came about 2 years ago, and now the company has filed documents with the FCC for what it's calling the Black Phone. So here's what a lawyer for the company is saying. It'll be sold primarily to government agencies and companies engaged in contractual activities with those agencies that are related to defense and homeland security. Okay, but that's not all. Apparently, any attempted servicing or replacing of parts would destroy the Black Phone, and, quote, any attempt to break open the casing of the device would trigger functions that would delete the data and software contained within the device and make the device inoperable. We've got sparse on images, but they do show that the Boeing Black has dual SIM cards and a variety of connectivity options such as LTE. Before we go, a quick calendar update. The first ARA Developers Conference, which is based on Google's advanced technology and projects team's work on the concept of modular, customizable phones, will take place via live web stream from April 15th through the 16th. Registrants will get to ask questions and participate online. A select few can even attend in person. It'll happen at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, California. More info is at projectara.com. And that's it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. Subscribe to the show at twit.tv/TN2. Write us at tn2@twit.tv with feedback or suggestions or questions. Our next newscast is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I'm Sarah Lane. Thanks for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.